Hugh, we got ourselves a big series starting tonight, and we have the Phillies with the chance to finish something that they've been working on for a while. The Phillies now enter tonight against the Mets. They head up to Citi Field tonight, Hugh. 7 games up on the New York Mets. How about the Phillies? Ranger Suarez yesterday, 11 strikeouts. Marchand with a big hit. Hugh, the Phillies just continue, and we'll get to the news about Zach Wheeler, which wasn't surprising, but we got the clarification on Wheeler.
Yeah.
Even amidst the Wheeler news over the last week, Hugh, the Phillies keep playing good baseball. They're entering this series against the Mets playing about as well as we could have hoped. I love the way they're playing right now.
Yeah,
Hugh.
and that's what you need, Joe. You need them to keep this going. I know I sound like a stick in the mud, but you just need to maintain this focus for however many games you got left, like 30-something, like 35 games or something like that. With however many you have left, you need to try to carry this momentum into the postseason.
So the Phillies are 76-54. Let's do some quick math on that. That means there's 32 games to go here. 32 games to go. 7 against the Mets. That starts tonight up at Citi Field. And look, Hugh, I know this series is going to be billed as the Phillies can finish the Mets. They can end the NL East. They could they could close it out. They could finish. But if they go to New York and sweep the Mets and they're up 10 with 29 to go, this thing is over. But Hugh, I've seen enough. I've seen enough over the last. Yeah, I have. And look, last year I felt this way in June. It took me longer this year to get there. But I have seen enough from both the Mets and the Phillies this year to say that before this series starts, this thing's already a wrap. The Phillies have won the NL East. This is a formality. Now we have to go. Yeah, we have to go through the pomp and circumstance of the next 5 weeks of clinching.
Go through the motions.
That's exactly it. We have to go. This series is about ending it early and making sure they're dead. But it's for all intents and purposes, this is over. The Phillies are up 7 games on the Mets with 32 to play. Let me give you some quick math on this. I looked at the standings this morning. On June 10th, which really wasn't that long ago. It was probably 10 weeks ago. On June 10th, the Phillies were 5 games back of the Mets.
I remember that vividly.
Which means the Phillies have been 12 games better than the Mets over the past 2+ months. They have been the far better team. The Mets' moves at the trade deadline have not made a big difference. Their bullpen hasn't been that much better. The Phillies have been that much better. And I look at it as 2 teams. These are 2 ships passing in the night. The Phillies are the better team. The Mets are a team in free fall. And if the Phillies hadn't made the Duran deal, Hugh, I would say, there's still a chance, right?
That was huge.
It was huge. I know he had his first blown save on Friday, but the guy's incredible. And I don't expect many more blown saves. The Mets this season are 0-53 when they're losing after 8 innings. They don't come back. They don't have fight in them. They're not going to be able to do it to the Phillies. Yeah. This division, I'm pronouncing it today, at 10:05 on August 25th, it's over. It's over before they play the first of these final 7 against each other. Hugh Douglas, on August 25th, as we enter the final 32 games of the season, are you ready? Are you with me? What do you mean no?
No.
The division's over.
I'm not.
It's over.
I'm not. That's not how I choose to operate. I remember vividly some conversations we've had in the past, similar to this one.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what you do. You get into your little baseball spiel and you're feeling good about the squad, and you get out over your skis. Take care of business this week, man.
It's over. It's over already. As long as they win 1 game this week, the Mets are screwed.
Take care of business this week.
Done.
And maintain the focus. This team, to me, they're in rarefied air right now. They look real focused. They're doing well. I know the bats weren't as hot as they were a couple of days ago, but still, they're handling their business. Stay in the moment. Do not get too high. Do not get too low. Stay right there and take care of your business. That's all you got to do.
Do I smell some Mets fear on Hugh Douglas?
I'm not afraid
a little Soto fear?
I am
Alonso
not afraid
fear?
of
Lindor?
anything.
Come
all
on.
I'm saying is this. You know how when you're vibrating on a high level, like I do for most of the time that I've been here.
Sure. Yeah.
You have to stay locked into that moment, man.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing you could do because there's a lot of baseball left to be played. I know that sounds crazy with 32 games left, but we're talking about 32 and beyond. So you have to keep that mojoing. So just just stay in that moment, man. That's all you got to do.
So look, if the Mets, if I thought the Mets were a better team than I think they are, then I wouldn't be ready to do this. Because I will say this: the Mets have played well against the Phillies in recent years. It wouldn't surprise anyone if of the 7 they have left against each other, if the Mets took 4 out of the 7, or it was 3-4, 4-3, somewhere in that range. They kind of split the 7 somewhere close to the middle. That wouldn't surprise anyone because again, the Mets have played pretty well against the Phillies. But you know who the Mets can't beat? Anybody else.
Yeah, they've been kind of feeble.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look so far this year, the Mets have a winning record against the Phillies. I believe it's 4 Mets wins to 2 Phillies wins in the 6 games, which means when they play everybody else, right, the other games when they're not playing each other, that means the Phillies are 9 games better than them when they play the rest of the base. I just think this Mets team is free-falling. Maybe they'll win 1 this week, whatever. Maybe they win 2. As long as the Phillies get 1 game this week, they leave Citi Field up 6. If they get 2, they leave up 8. If they get all 3. All right, will you meet me in the middle? If the Phillies sweep them this week and go up 10 with 29 to play, will you pronounce the Mets dead on Thursday?
That'll be 3, and then we got 4 left.
Yeah, but we'd be up 10 with 29 to play.
That's a nice place to be, but you got to stay focused.
You won't even pronounce the Mets dead if the Phillies sweep them.
No, you're in a good
they're
spot.
In the casket right now. Just close the casket and lower them down.
You have to stay focused.
I am focused.
It's about focusing. It's about focusing, being focused.
Yeah.
And it's about not focusing.
Focusing.
When I said it, I thought she was going to let it go. But yeah, it's about being focused.
Yeah.
And you got to maintain your focus. And that's how I'm always going to be. That's the old football player in me, man.
Scared.
And not scared, just keeping, like Jalen likes to say,
the main thing.
The main thing.
Yeah.
You got to keep the main thing,
We
man.
can't go 8 minutes without mentioning Jalen.
That's
I mean,
probably one of my favorite quotes.
All right, so we got a lot to discuss today. 215-592-9494. For everyone out there that is wondering, and I'm sure many are after what I surmised was the show on Friday, Hugh Douglas will give a full update on his trip to the furry convention.
I hung out with the furries.
11:15 today, I promise. The floor is Hugh's.
Shout out to all the furries that I met.
Yeah.
I
saw your tweet on Friday, by the way. No Joe, no Kyle, Hugh Douglas in charge.
Yeah.
And it was furry talk.
Oh, dude, that was bananas. That's the only time I'll actually get to talk about it. The timing was perfect. I bullied TK, and who was it, Luke? I bullied both of them.
Oh, they had no shot.
They had no shot.
No. When I saw the tweet, I was like, oh, no. What have we done?
And Kyle trying to police from wherever he was. And I was like, man, go on with that. Ain't nobody listening.
Yeah, no, you're not here. It doesn't count. All right, 215-592-9494. A lot to discuss today. Again, we'll get to the Eagles trade. Hugh gives his full report from the furry convention. Francisco Rojas producing today in for Kyle.
Francisco!
Fran, where you at? Is the NL East already over?
They got to sweep.
Oh, come
Sorry,
on.
they got to sweep, Joe.
You
they
guys.
have to sweep. I need 10 games back.
10
in order to
games.
say
Tell him, Francisco.
The NL East is over.
See, I'm rubbing off on Francisco. He's been around.
So for you guys, no pulse is not enough. You need to see the casket lowered into the ground before you believe they're dead.
Look, and I know the Wheeler news happened. If they had Zach Wheeler, I'd say it's a lock. But there's still question marks about the Phillies pitching staff. It's not a perfect bullpen. I know that the Mets are faltering. But look, after what happened last year with the Mets, them getting hot and getting into the playoffs and making it all the way to the NLCS, I don't think it's a lock, man. I don't think it's a lock.
All right, so I think there's 2 parts to this. One, the Mets season isn't over, right? They're still the last wild card spot right now. So we may have to deal with them in October, and we've seen it in recent years, like that NL East team that's not the division winner. It was the Phillies twice, then it was the Mets, tends to give the other one trouble. So I'm not pronouncing the Mets fully dead for the season yet. We may have to deal with them in October, and that's a different animal. I'm just saying for the division, I already decided this thing is over. 215-592-9494. The Phillies are 12 games better than the Mets since June 10th. That's a lot of games. They have dominated the last 2 months compared to where the Mets are. The Mets bullpen's shaky. The Mets starters are shaky. They're not getting a lot of offense out of besides their top 3 stars. The Phillies are better right now, and they go in there with a lot of confidence, and I think they have a mission to kind of finish this thing without Zach Wheeler. Where do you guys come down? We'll take all your phone calls coming up. 215-592-9494. Is the NL East over now, today, this morning, before this series starts? I say it's done. The Phillies, I pronounced them division champs this morning on August